Here's an idea for you. This is something you can make out of scrap wood and your iPhone or any other type of smartphone. Here's a little cradle I made. I have a little recessed area where the buttons can fit down into and they won't be a problem. And on your phone, you can go to the App Store and find a leveling device. But it's hard to use without this cradle. But when you get this cradle, I made it nice and tight. Take a look at what I end up with here. It sets in there, and there's a number of these different apps that will do this. And if you look very closely, you can see that I can see that my countertop is almost dead horizontal on the kitchen floor, 0.5 degrees. Take a look at some other applications now. Have you ever tried to put something up on the wall, a picture or a piece of artwork, and wonder if it's level? You can take your iPhone in this cradle and set it right on top and take a look. You can find that even though your eyes may tell you different, this is level on the wall. Check out these other applications for your hanging cabinets. You can see if they're vertical. You can see if they're vertical to the wall. And you can open up the cabinets and see if they're horizontal. All this and these applications are free. Here's my table, and keep in mind this is on a carpet on top of a slab on top of some tile, and I'm still only 1/10 a degree off from level. I found this piece of walnut, and it's 3/4 by 1 5/8, and I'm going to cut it off at 8 inches for this first attempt at making one of these. Now I'm going to take my phone and put it right on top of the wood, and I can quickly see that I have about 1/8 of an inch of wood on each side of the phone. This all depends on the thickness of the case. I think I'm going to try this again and use a wider piece of wood, but this 3/4 inch piece will do the job for now. Now I'm going to take about 1/4 of an inch, that's going to be the back side off. I'm just going to rip that away and set it aside. And now I'm going to take some calipers and see the exact thickness of the wood. And I want this to be tight, so I'm going to measure again and then take that and use that as the thickness of the center piece of wood. That's actually going to be the spacer between the outer and inner pieces of wood. So I'll set that right against the fence and get that distance. Now after I've done that, I can take my wood and slide it through the blade, and when I do this, the piece of wood I get, remember, is going to be the center piece. That is the thickness of the phone itself. And I'm going to take this piece in a moment and give it a slice down the middle. You can see now I have this center piece of wood that is about the same thickness as the phone itself. It's going to be pretty snug in there. Now I'm going to take the two sides and set them apart, and take this center piece and split it right down the middle, about 3/4 inches up, and it's going to provide the resting spot for the phone itself. I'm going to go ahead now and rip that center cut. Watch where my finger placement is, reaching beyond the blade and pushing through with a push stick, always thinking safety here. Now take a look at this. We have the spacer bar and the two outside pieces, and the phone is fitting nice and snug in here. I want it so that it can barely slide. Now we're going to split the front piece that's thinner so we can see our cell phone easily. And here's the assemblage. You can see the back piece is thicker and stronger and higher, and then the front piece just fits in like that. Nice and snug. Now for the glue up, I want that phone to fit in there nice and tight, but these buttons make the phone rise a little bit. So I'm going to mark generously on each side of the buttons, and that's an area I'm going to carve out so the phone can sit flat and flush.
So now I'm just going to
Here's me chiseling away a little bit
this off.
and removing that little bit of wood there. Now we'll check where we cut into the wood and the buttons fit down there and it's flush and level. A little glue is added to all contact surfaces, and here I just have wax paper underneath and I'm using my finger as a paintbrush. It washes off very easily, so I don't worry about that. And once I get it all together, I'll tap it down so it's even on the bottom, and then I take these spring clamps and clamp it in for drying. Now when that's done, I can come back and just to make it look a little bit better, I'm going to round out both sides, and I'll use an old cap that will make that round area at the top and bottom. Now I have to be mindful about this because I don't have as big a surface here, so I'm going to push down here when I do this. And now I'll hit all surfaces with the belt sander. Now I'm going to take some of this Watco, and it's a nice wipe-on finish, and just put a little on here to seal things up and make it look real nice. And here we are. We have a nice cradle for this to fit in. The app is free. You can make it out of scrap wood, and there's probably other ways you can split the wood, but I would encourage you to try one of these. It'll save you a lot of money. You don't have to buy a bubble level anymore. Thanks for watching.